Everybody, welcome to the channel. Oh, here we go. We got some noisy vehicles anyways. So we're walking. Look at this mural. This is the mural that's on my fence that the town paid to have done. So we are in the PMODE, Manitoba, north of 53, Boreal Forest in Canada. So here we are today. We have the Nikon D700 and we have it in PMODE. Once again, we're doing PMODE, but we're doing street photography today as promised. And so I've set the ISO parameters to the high of 3200, so we won't be going over 3200. And I set the lowest shutter speed at 1/250th of a second. So the camera's looking after everything else. Again, the lens is the 75-300 4.5 to 5.6 AF, which is an amazing lens. So here we go again. Let me just shoot a couple of snaps here for you. And so this is calling f6. We're at ISO 400. We're at 6.3 at 2000. So the camera today is looking after everything. So here we go. Oh, and by the end, at the end of the, we'll go for a little walk here. I use a DJI gimbal. I think it's an SE4, and my phone is a Samsung. All my videos are recorded on a phone. Is a Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra Plus, I do believe. So here we go. Here we go here. We're just coming around to the front of the house. Now we have a berries are starting to form, but there's some interesting light happening on this mountain ash. So I'm going to zoom right in, and we're reading now. Oh boy, the wind's moving it around. 1/500, 6.3, 400. There'll be a few compositions. So with this gimbal, when I spin it, like I'm doing right now, my camera is now in portrait mode, but you won't know that. This autofocus is awesome, but I'm trying to get some good. Oh, here we go. Perfect. All right, let's keep it moving. So I just walked past a Porsche S, but because of the license plates, I really don't want to be showing the license plates on the video. So here's the few photos I took from there. Here we go. See, I kind of like some of this. We don't have any clouds in the sky today, but the reason why I like these zoom lenses, especially the 75-300 in a small town street, is because you can take these compositions just like this. 1600 f6.3 ISO 400. Now I can zoom in and do another one. So we're hitting 2000 now. Just, you know, you can do some different compositions. Let's do something in portrait. Let's see if we can catch something in portrait right here. Ooh, she's hunting a little. There we go. It's simply because in a small town, you know, a 50mm lens is just not you know, or 35s. It's just too wide. In the city, I can see, definitely in the cities where it's more, a lot of population and it's cramped, you know, things are cramped up. Those lenses, you know, but this one here, you know, this town here, small town, things are wide open. So the big lenses are definitely to your advantage here. Let me just pull the top of this garage. 2006.3. It's still hitting at ISO 400. It's just got to find some stability here. There we go. Once again, there's another composition I can get on this garage. I kind of like the way it's got the old style 1600 6.3, you know, and there's, you know, there's a composition because the window here has a metal. So I'll put that into sort of like the thirds and we'll snap that. And you can just pull all these compositions with this lens and these long reach lenses. Things like this, you know, I'm not always shooting people or buildings, you know, just even with this lens, because it has that micro on it and it's an automatic micro, I can pull this. So we're at 6.3 and we're doing 400 ISO 400. I better snap another one. Things are moving around. There's no vibration in this lens. So you see, I just got this interesting photo and here it is. Ooh, I really like this one. I really like this. This is gonna look good in color. These berries right here, along with the old fence in the background. We're pulling 6.3 and we're at about 200. So whether, yep, 250 at 6.3, 640 ISO. So whether we're going to get a composition out of there, I don't know. But here's another interesting one I'm finding interesting, is this big snaking of vines from the tree. That, and then we can see, I'm going to pull back a bit so we go through the snaking of the vines and we'll see if we can grab those dandelions in there. We're in portrait right now. There we go. Here we go. I find this always an interesting composition here on this, we call it an MPI building. So, but with this lens, I can stand probably, you know, 30 feet away and bring this lens. Where do we bring this lens to? We bring this lens to about 80. I'm around 80 right now. I'll bring it in a little bit more, so I'm definitely at 85 now. And we'll grab this shot. It's interesting. It's got some interesting structure here. And she's pulling 6.3. There's lots of 6.3 ISO here today. Why? No, that's or 6.3 in the. But that's okay. So now I can bring right in. I can go into portrait mode and bring right in at 300 this canna lily. Right now I can go right up because of the macro. We can go right in and get a few compositions of these flowers with that brick in the background. I don't know if we're going to be getting, so now we're at 1200 6.3. We're in portrait mode, and look at that. Look at what we can grab here. We're still at ISO 400. It's still telling the camera ISO 400. And there's some different small flowers here that are kind of very interesting. So I'll try to get some kind of a composition on there. In color, these will probably look better. So today you will be seeing color, and then after all the color is done, like I've done before with these systems, I'm going to after all the color is done, the black and whites are done, you will see all the color photos. Well, there's quite a few interesting things here. This right here, I like those flowers, those three right in between there. So with this, right, I can pull my composition in and out, go into this macro mode. There's a fly on it right now. So I'm at about 200, and this is at full macro. Now if I pull it in, now we're going to go to full 300. And we're at 800 6.3, still 400 ISO. Right on. Right here, if I wanted to grab a composition of that street light and street sign from all the way across the street, I just have to pull this in, right? And so we're sitting at 1600 f6.3, and we're at about 135. Oh, there's this big mural. So even if you were just a tourist, you know, and you had this lens and you had the 35 to 70, they both have macro. So let me just grab this mural here. Okay, so we're definitely all the way back at 75 here. We're probably about 30 feet away, and you're probably going to see some bending, but who cares? I like the bends. Here we go all the way across the street. I want to get just the one flower pot, huge flower pot on the right, and the small wooden one on the left. So we're going to pull this right to 300, back to about 275, 800 6.3. So here we go now. We got the towns at the museum, which used to be the big the courthouse here, built in the 1919 or something like that. They have apples, you know, we call them crab apples or whatever. And I like the way it's shining, so let me zoom in all the way to 300. We're at 500 6.3, 400 ISO, and we'll see what we got there. So now I'm bringing it into about a 110 or a 120, And I want to catch this old courthouse with some of the top brick structure and some of the window structure, with the courthouse and the date sign in the middle. We're at 800 6.3 ISO 400. See what I mean? Like with this reach, you can just do anything. Now I find this interesting, just the color mixtures. So I'm going to see if I can macro this. Look at that. So I'm at about 200, and I'm going to see if I can get a composition here. 1000, 6.3, still at 400. Here's an interesting one. This one building was built after this mural was put on the side of another building. Hey, how's it going? So, there's a supporter of the channel just drove by. So, in order to get this composition, now you got to have a lens like this. So, let me see what we can do. There's a shadow cutting through it, but that could probably add to the interest. Let's see what we can do here. We're at 3200. Between 25 and 3200 shutter speed, 6.3, right out at 300, 400 ISO still. Now I'm going to take a few. I'm going to want the parking sign in that in, and some of the composition of the building, and then I'm going to pull right out to 300. There's no way you'd get that without this lens, or without the reach like this. Here's another interesting thing. When you have a look in here, I'm going to try to get this, because in street photography this stuff is interesting too. There's cords hanging down. It's reality, right? This is reality. So I'm going to go into portrait mode, and I'm going to bring this all the way back and try to catch focus on the writing and that window and the bars. So we're at 250 and we're hitting 640 here. I just got to get this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do a couple because this thing is hunting a bit. And these do hunt, like, right? There we go. Boy, that's going to look good. So here, this is a whole interesting scene. We have the billiards, we have the sports bar, we have this special hibiscus. I remember the owner of this sports bar telling me about it, and he owns the bike too. And so what I want to do is I want to try to get as much as I can in here to show the I'll have to bring that over to the bike. There we go. So we're probably at oh geez, we're close to 300, and here we go. We're at 1000, 6.3, 400. I'm gonna bring this back a bit so we can see some of the door and his sign. So we're probably at about 250. There we go. It's a bit of a different composition here, if you can hear me. So I'm going to the portrait mode, and I want to take this so you can see that hibiscus through the bars of the bike, and then some of its environment. 1000, 6.3, ISO 400. We don't usually do people when we have this lens, but today we're going to do it just to show you guys. 1000, 6.3, ISO 400. I want to get that Canadian flag, if you guys can see it. I'm in portrait mode, but there's a Canadian flag through these leaves. Oh, it's not happening. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Here we go. Get it waving good. Boy, see, this is because there's no vibration reduction. We're really moving here. This is a bigger lens. There we go. I'm pretty sure we got that. That should be interesting. See, this is what I'm saying. When you have these zoom lenses, you know, the 18-200 is awesome, right, for the DX. But imagine if you had the 18-300 that they have now, the crazy awesome reach that you have, you know, from wide to telephoto, doing street photography. You know, this is quite the heavy setup. This is quite the heavy setup we have working here. So it's you know, you're gonna have to have an Armstrong kicking it around. But there's a new sign. Here we go. Look at, there's a new sign in town, and this is a video. At a store called Profits Furniture, and there's a mirror in the window, and I'm gonna zoom in and see if I can get me in that mirror so you can see this setup in portrait mode, because we always got to do a window and a reflection shot, right? Here's another one through the window, and there's a mirror. And so I'm going to try to pull this. 1, 2, 3, 1000, 6.3, 400. Yeah, you can see. So look at the gimbal. See? Look at this gimbal in action. Here we go. I'll take one more just for good. The park here, so we can zoom right in. Get a composition, 1200, 6.3, 400. Right? We don't have to disturb. We can bring it out. There we go. And then we'll take we'll take the photos. We'll try one in with the seagull in landscape. That's cool. As you probably guessed, we made it all the way down to the river, and to tell you the truth, we've only been walking for, you know, maybe 15-20 minutes. Boy, this thing is just stuck on 6.3 all day. So we're gonna interfere. Oh my God. I just realized the reason we're not in P mode, we're in aperture priority. My mistake. So I'll do some in P mode. I'm sorry, we've been in I've been wondering why it was always 6.3. See, this is, always check your gear before you go out, because it's in aperture priority. Simply because, so let me take this photo at f/16. Okay, so let me now switch to, oh my gosh, this is so funny. Here I am doing program mode, and I'm wondering why this ISO isn't changing, and I'm just looking now, like 20 minutes, 3/4 of the video. So now we're in P mode, full P mode, and I should have noticed, because beside the aperture setting, it would be a little P. But here, you know, it's just, you get so involved that you make these mistakes, but that's okay. Aperture priority. So all the other photos that you've seen up until now are aperture priority. And I'll make an announcement at the beginning of the video that a lot of the first were aperture priority. And here I am wondering, why is this thing stuck in 6.3? This happens to the best of us, and I know these cameras. You know, I know these cameras. So we're gonna try to get these boats all the way across. Here we go. Now it's moving around. So anyways, it's been about 20 minutes now, and I've been shooting in aperture priority. And so now we're shooting in P mode from here on in. So this is going to be an extra long video. Okay, so while I'm standing here at the river, and we just discovered that I've been shooting in aperture priority instead of the program mode, I noticed this log here. So I'm into the macro here. I'm right at 300, and I'm trying to get that rust. So the leaves are blowing around. So here we go. Now we're hitting F13. Okay, let's see if, boy, that wind is working me hard here. This might take a few shots, but maybe I'll move a bit and we'll be able to get that rust spot. There we go. Oh, no, here, I want to get, oh boy. So anyways, we're at ISO 400. F11, F13, boom. Isn't that funny? Why we do funny things, or I do funny things anyways. I'll involve you guys because you've actually watched up to this far. So do we learn from our mistakes? Well, sometimes. But, you know, we'll take some of the same compositions again. So here we are. We are going to take F11, see? So we'll be taking a few on the way back home now as I'm heading back. So I'll try to copy some of these compositions I took. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's some light coming through here. So we are in full P mode now. And I want to get, this will be good in color. It might not be so great in black and white. But it's calling for F8, 320 at 400. Here we go, we're in P mode now. We'll try to get another shot of this hibiscus through Larry's bike. So now we're doing F10 at 400 shutter speed. A little better. So now we're at another planter. We've got some nice light. So I'm going to put this lens on macro again and try to pull this composition. And we're shooting at 400 F10, 400 ISO. So I've come across this, and we're now still in P mode, right? But I really like the way the light is shining through this. So remember today we're letting the camera do everything except for taking the shot. So in P mode right now, we're in 320, F9, ISO 400. So here we go, we got more of these nice bright, geez, I can't remember the name of these flowers. But I'm in macro again, and we're gonna see if we can get a composition here. I like the yellow in the back. Oh yes, this one looks like it's a good one. And we're at 320 F10. Again, 400. I'll grab a couple here. And we're right out at 300. Again, I just kind of like these flowers where the light's just kissing through, but it's on the grass too. And of course you can see some garbage in there, but you know what? I'm gonna grab this composition because they're so interesting. Right out of 300 again, we're pulling 320 shutter speed, f9, ISO 400. I'll take a couple. There we go. So we're coming back now and we're going to do this again. And this time we are going to use PMODE like we're supposed to. Here we go. There's another mural all the way across that's getting a little, it's getting a little old now and flaky, but let's see if we can grab a focus on that. So we're all the way, we're at about 200, and I want to get a little bit of the building in with that window. So we're at 1000 f16 400. See, right? The PMODE is what I was trying to show today, but now we're getting to see some. We got the local RCMP station, but those planters in the front look kind of cool, you know, with the structure. So we're probably pulling about 250. I'm all the way across the street. And what is this telling me? This is telling me to go home. Yeah, here we go. I gotta adjust my, okay. So f9 320. And here we go, we got a nice motorcycle here. So we're at 500 f11, ISO 400. Let me get this focus moved over. We're on our way back now, and I'm going to pull a composition here of the same setting, but now in PMODE. A little bit more of the building. I'm going to focus on that first plant. I want to get some of that side shadow. So I'm probably sitting around 200, I would say, 200. And the camera's saying 320 f9 at 400. We're in full sun, so I didn't think that the ISO was going to. There we go. Here we go. I love taking photos of this old fence scene here. Some people might think that stuff is ugly, but I love it. So we're at f250, f6.3 at 400, and we're pretty much we were at 135 there. So I want to pull another composition here. And we're at 200, 250, 7.1. You know, it's we're quite a distance. We're about 40 feet away from that. So here we are now at a big planter we call the paw planter. It's as you enter into the core of the downtown area. It's a planter that's looked after by a lot of people, and they have a lot of interesting flowers in here. So so let's take some photos here, and this is going to be the conclusion of our video and our photo taken here today. But here we go. I hope you like the 2-for-1, the aperture priority, along with the, finally the PMODE. So let's grab a few pictures here, a few photos here. These are always, you know, so this one's saying f10 at, it's still, this was ISO 400, but we're doing 400 shutter speed at f10. The sun is straight above us, so we'll pull right out to 300 on this one. You know, some of the leaves are dying off. You'll see something fading here. There's a bit of, here we go, look at that. Look at that composition. You see what I mean? So I'm just at a planter here, right? We're just at a planter here, and we're pulling all kinds of interesting compositions and you know, this macro on this lens, another one close up on this, you know, this one right in front of us, which is only about 5 feet away, right? We're right at 300, you know. There goes some people on we're allowed to ride our ATVs here, so we'll take a shot there. And you know, let's see this cornflower here. Look at that. See, so that's saying it's kind of hard to get the whole thing in, so I'm gonna have to pick and choose. I can open it up, so I'm gonna open this up to about 200 and crop it. So we're doing 300 at f9, 400 ISO, and then I'll bring it in a bit here. Maybe we'll do a landscape mode on that sucker. There we go. 250 f8, 400 ISO. So there you go. Like, subscribe, click the bell. I hope you really enjoyed this twofer video that really wasn't planned. There's a lot of definitely a lot of photos, and there's going to be a lot of video in this. I want to try to get this coneflower with the green and yellow in the background. There we go. 320 f9. So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for hanging in, and we'll see you next video.
Sadda Sema. Yes, Kaya. Yes, Kaya.
Thank you.